Welcome to the Smart Connector Group. This is also our live stream and our podcast, and I've got such an incredible guest for you tonight, Rona Rivera Rahman. Welcome, Rona.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so pleased. I've told everybody.
Yeah, I know. And I have been so looking forward to this episode because we're going to go really, really deep dive on TikTok. And Rona's a TikTok and a social media marketing expert. So we've already had a conversation before the podcast started. And she said, ask me that on the podcast, ask me that on the podcast. So I just can't wait to ask her all of my questions, which will probably also be all of your questions about how entrepreneurs can use TikTok to build their business. But first of all, Rona, just introduce yourself and tell us where have you come from? What do you do? What are your priorities in business and life right now?
Yes, so Rona Rivera Rahman, that's me. I live in good old East London. I'm actually back in the hometown where I was kind of raised in Newham, which I absolutely love. Um, about the age of 10 to 13, I went to live in the Philippines for a bit. My mom's from the Philippines, my dad's from Bangladesh. And that was a huge kind of turning point for me because before you have the reservations of being shy and not wanting to kind of, you have that kind of the barrier, the social barrier from that. And living in a country, even though they all speak English, you still have that sense that you can't express yourself or you can't say the same. So when I came back to UK, and in my head everyone's really friendly and polite, I came back and I said I have no excuse not to express myself or say what I want. And in my philosophy, everyone's going to forget what you say anyway. So so that's my kind of thing. So that's really kind of stretched it out. Went to college, school, university, loved it. I loved going to school. But I had never had any ambitions at all to go into business. That's kind of something that I never really saw. It's absolutely no. Why would you do that? And stocks and shares were for the devil because apparently that's all horrible, and all that kind of stuff. And there was a turning point when I bought my own house and I discovered property and being able to buy houses and stuff like that. And that's kind of triggered the journey of different ways of making money, and business is another way. So business, stocks and property are my thing. And I kind of discovered affiliate marketing, which for those who don't know, it's having other products and selling it and making a commission. And learning that, I got good at growing social media, growing Twitter, Facebook, advertising, etc. And just naturally it came to just advising people. And I kind of do it professionally now because people keep asking me all the questions. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm crazy excited and passionate about property. But yeah, social media marketing, just marketing in general, is fascinating, and that's kind of really brought that in. So I left my full-time job January 31st, 2020. So a huge gap of doing trainings and going wherever I want just before the lockdown hit. And I wanted to work from home anyway because I got the chance to do that with property and social media and affiliate marketing, which is, you can just learn this and you always have that opportunity, which is absolutely amazing. So here I am, helping out and just talking about stuff that I love, really.
Brilliant. And you've got a TikTok marketing agency, haven't you, Rona? So I know there's so many different aspects of social media that are really fascinating, and marketing as well. And I know we've had a great conversation ourselves about email marketing. So I know there's so many different areas that we could go into. But tonight we're going to focus on this phenomenon called TikTok and how you can actually use TikTok as an entrepreneur to grow your business. So before we get into this, the first question, I suppose, is why is TikTok good for entrepreneurs? And why is it not just for teenagers doing dances in their bedrooms and showing off to one another, which is what most people think of TikTok as?
Well, that's the thing, right? Is they said that with, I guess, every single social media that came about, like Facebook, why would you show what you ate for breakfast or what you did today or why you're upset with and who you're going out with. Why would you care about putting something on Twitter as well? On Instagram, that's a bit silly. Is that vanity?
Showing
What is
off.
all this about? Isn't it just showing off? I mean, you have LinkedIn, which was kind of when it started out was a bit weird. Does that kind of really work? And obviously all the other social medias that have been in the past.
Yeah.
But as you see, they have become real powerhouses because, you know, what social media in general is about, you know, connecting with other people, not necessarily for business. It's just, you know, people come and say what they want. And then we've kind of, especially if you're a marketer, exploited that and just meeting and directing with people. And with TikTok, I mean, it's relatively new. I mean, there's like I think last time I checked, it's about 600 million, about 500 million over like users. And that's kind of surpassed the likes of Twitter and Pinterest and Snapchat in that, you know, it took like 6 years for Instagram to do that.
Wow.
And it's taken 3 years for TikTok to do the equivalent of what Instagram has done. And, you know, with YouTube as well, they were like, that where you put like South Park and cat videos, and that really wasn't seriously either. But if you're anybody, you know, that's where you go for how to fix your plug, you know, your plumbing. That's where you find out about learning about philosophy and getting that audio book that's there. And
anything.
The media has then taken it on, and suddenly everyone's been advertising over to use these platforms. And so why TikTok? It is a video platform, so you do have that, like YouTube, it has that instant connection. But originally, as it saw as a silly, frivolous thing where just kids dance, but like the user group, if you look at the demographics, people who use TikTok have a certain amount of money in their pocket as well, so you can target them. And because of the magic sauce, which is the TikTok algorithm, because you can ask me about like the actual platform itself later on.
Yeah.
But because of the whole controversy of it, it really focuses and shows you only the stuff that you want. So it's specific to the person. Obviously, all the social medias have an element to that, but it's literally focused specifically on what you want. So any video that you want, it'll go target that niche. And if it's popular and it's kind of equal that playing field, how YouTube used to be before it kind of skewed to like the big advertisers. And it's that video, that instant connection, it's the mix of the algorithm, and it's the buy-in of the industry. Because of all the social medias, you can kind of use pop music in TikTok.
Oh,
so
right.
you can actually, they've kind of licensed it. If you use any section of music in YouTube, you get like copyright claims, and they kind of don't like that. So it's a mix of all of that, which we can kind of go into as well. And because of that targeted thing, you can find your audience no matter what business it is, from anything to a tailor to a plumber to an e-commerce store. It's amazing. It's brilliant, the amount of reach. That's why you should be on TikTok.
Okay. So Rona, you talked about the algorithm. So what specifically is it about the algorithm on TikTok that is different to, say, the algorithm on Facebook or any of the other social media platforms?
So, all right. So remember the controversy, like America, well, you know who, wanted to like ban it because it was kind of invasive or trying to get all your secrets and stuff. But really, because of, for those who don't know, who don't use TikTok, you have there's a feed. You see a video, you swipe. If you don't want to see it, you watch the video. And because it's relatively short, you can loop it. And then from your choices, it will then recommend you videos similar to it. And it tries to pick the videos that you like.
Okay.
Based on what you've chosen, right? And to some extent, all social media does it. But because TikTok is so fast, you can change it in like 2 to 3 minutes, to a few seconds. It learns it pretty fast. And the magic thing about TikTok is there's no human involvement in it, even though TikTok is probably one of the most human things. And you want to talk about graphics and how slick it is. It's actually the reason why it is successful is half of it because it's not, it's kind of the opposite to Instagram in some ways. It knows it. It's all machine learned. It's really, really specific. It targets every single pixel in your video and tracks everything. So
Wow.
super, super high tech. And I know someone who kind of looked into the coding and tells me the secret sauce of all the bits and pieces to take advantage of the algorithm, even though algorithms change every 2 seconds for every social media.
They do, and you can't game the algorithm, can you? Because as you said, they're one step ahead of you all the time, really, aren't they? Because the social media platforms have your data and you don't have theirs. So it's that's the way it works, isn't it? Right?
Yes. People try to game it, and obviously there are ways to kind of beat it. I mean, with LinkedIn, which I know you're really great at, it's if you try to try a certain thing to try to get everyone to like a certain post, it suddenly starts thinking, hey, it's these group of people that are doing the same thing, let's kind of stop this. And they change it every so often, so you can't try to game the system. But with
Yes.
TikTok, it's a bit magic, because one of the secrets of TikTok is actually you want to not be original. Even though you can be original and you can be profound and all that kind of stuff, they want you to stick to the formula of whatever is popular, because if they
Okay.
know what you're doing, then they can show that thing again to the person that liked the thing before, if you get what I mean. So there are tricks and tips, and anything I say to you, there's an opposite thing that says that's absolutely wrong. uh, and actually they all work, and they also all don't work. But there are some kind of certain principles that you need to do and kind of work and test it out. But it's terrific. It's actually amazing.
Okay. So Rona, one of the things that I think perhaps intimidate quite a lot of entrepreneurs is they see TikTok videos on other feeds, for example. I mean, they're shared quite a lot, aren't they, on Instagram
Mm,
or Facebook or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, those graphics look amazing, and that's a performance that this person's put on, and it looks so slick and so professional, and I could never do something like that." So I think that the production standard and the graphic standard seems to be very high on the whole. What would you say to people who are saying to themselves, "It's not for me because I could never do something like that," or "I could never do those slick and fancy graphics," or be entertaining as that and as charismatic? And
mm.
what would you say?
Well, one of the reasons why it's so slick, because of the tool and the app itself. And if you play around with it, and that's probably the best way to learn about TikTok, is to use TikTok.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. But it has all these features that you can use. But
Hmm.
the reason why it's kind of different to YouTube or Instagram, which are now trying to copying the TikTok format, Twitter are now trying to copy the TikTok format. YouTube now want to shorten their videos when they've made it long, and you can watch a 4-hour video, 10-hour video on YouTube. Also want to have a short version of it. What makes it different from any other video format is that it's the rawness. You say that there's really amazing stuff, and there is amazing stuff with production and lots of things and lots of apps, which you use that to make it good. But one of the reasons why it's so popular is because it was kind of born of the pandemic and the lockdown and COVID. And if you're there at TikTok at any time, you know people are. That's kind of when it changed to having like 14-year-olds, to having uh, people have been furloughed, people that are in musical theatre that now have to work in Tesco, you know, because they have, and everyone's always on it. And the thing is, because it's so addictive and it only gives you the stuff that you want, and if you don't like it, you just swipe away, is that anyone can do it. And opposed to Instagram, where if you have to have a post, there's a specific format that you're supposed to do. It's supposed to be pretty. Everyone, in theory, in theory, goes, oh, it's pretty. Everything's to be touched up. You have to pose for like 20 minutes to get the perfect shot, or you have to use beautiful photographs. Otherwise, it's not worthy. With TikTok, because of the pandemic, and it's surprising that I've actually washed my hair and put makeup on today, because when you're at home, everyone's like, I don't care. And that's what's translated into TikTok. It's actually being about being raw, not wearing makeup, having your hair messy, being unattractive and just kind of reacting to what's around you. So that's one of the things to answer your question about intimidation. Actually, you could spend like 20 hours doing a TikTok that lasts for a minute, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, the shorter the better. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be popular. It's some of those things that you take 10 seconds to do and it goes viral, and a million people looking at it. So in that respect, you don't have any intimidation at all. And
Okay.
to add to that intimidation is that with TikTok, unlike other social medias, someone said this, one of my TikTok people, that it's like going to Vegas or to a slot machine, and every time you pull the lever, you could win money, but if you pull the lever and you don't win, you don't lose any money. If you make mistakes or anything on that, it doesn't like ruin your algorithm or anything. You can start afresh and new to this new audience, and that way kind of levels the playing field, you know, in some respects. So even if you make mistakes, doesn't matter, no one's going to look at it anyway. So
Yeah.
it's absolutely fine. You just got to keep using it and doing it.
Yeah, cool. So would you say that it's a lot about spontaneity and that you can be very spontaneous on it as a platform? And if it doesn't work out, if something bombs or if you just decide you don't like it, probably like any other social media platform, you can take it down. Is it just about playing and having fun, Rona?
Yes, and actually that's one of the things about TikTok, and we want to talk about business in a bit, is that when you talk about social media and any of your kind of business, TikTok is about you as a person. And it doesn't actually necessarily have to do with anything that you're promoting, or because they want to talk about you and they want to work with you as a person. So what was your question again? I was touching off on a tangent.
So is it about spontaneity? Is it just about spontaneity and having fun in part and just being...
Yeah, having fun. So that's the thing, right? It's about showing you, and this is one of the platforms, fun is the key. You can be serious for sure. If that's not your personality and that's who you are, people will find you. But it's one of the things where it is, of course, about dancing and having fun and having jokes and just watching things that make you laugh and smile. That's one of the reasons why it did so well during the COVID and the pandemic, because it was just such a laugh. One of the niches is comedy is one of the top things, because you can just watch it and it could be hilarious and you watch it again and again and again.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like an ancestor of Vine. Do you remember Vine? It's even better than that. It's like it's just fun, and you can play around with it. You're allowed to have fun, even if you have a very, very serious profession. It kind of lets you off in that respect. It's not like links, you know. Each social media has its own persona. Like it could be a sitcom. With TikTok, it's about, you know, just having fun, being yourself, being a bit bit in shambles a little bit. It's fine, because people will find you, the people that like you.
Amazing. And as you said, we've all needed a bit more fun in our lives, haven't we, since lockdown and the pandemic hit. So it really is the perfect time, isn't it, for a platform that is really all about fun and all about perhaps, you know, just the lighter and more entertaining side of life. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, because we've got quite a few people watching us live tonight, that if you have any questions, if you're watching us and you have some questions for Rona, she's here to answer them. So anything that you want to ask her about TikTok, just put it in the chat, and I'm sure that she'll be able to answer. So let's get on to talking about TikTok for business, Rona. So you said that it's a very good platform for entrepreneurs. So how would an entrepreneur... Oh, hold on a sec. We've got a question from Keith. We're going to get onto this in a minute, but he said, "Can you tell us about the hashtags, Rona?"
Oh, hashtags. Yeah. Well, there's a veil of mystery what tags you should use. There are like three. Also, if you look at Instagram, there's also a secret sauce with hashtags as well. So generally, what you're posting is what you hashtag about it. So just easier to find, general rule. There's also some hashtags that you always want to put in every single video, especially if you want to promote your brand. And also you want to tackle a specific niche. So if you're niche and you want to be known as the plumber in your area, you want to hashtag plumber or your company name in every single video, no matter what it is, even if it's just you dancing to something or reacting to something. And that kind of establishes your presence in that category. So when they do search back into it 20 years later, is that you will be linked to that specific kind of brand with that hashtag. There are certain hashtags that you want to do all the time. It's similar to Instagram. You want to do a broad one and be as specific as possible, as well as, because TikTok is always trending, there's always something new where you can find. It's also being about whatever the trending hashtag is or the music is, trying to make it relevant. So there is some secret sauce. It is kind of contradictory stuff, but there tends to be hashtags that you want to choose. I've got a list of hashtags later that if maybe we stick to the end, I'll put them in the chat or the comments later, because there are specific ones that you always want to use. It's some secret
That
sauce
would
there.
be, yeah, really, really good. Okay, so another somebody else says, how can I use TikTok to fine furniture, luxury, to promote luxury furniture? So how would somebody use TikTok to do that, Rona?
Well, there's one way to actually showcase it, using it, talking about it. You can do reviews about it. You can even if it's not your furniture, to kind of establish yourself as the authority. If this sounds familiar, this is kind of similar to many of the rules in other social media applies to TikTok. So one of the if you usually search luxury furniture into TikTok, you will see it. And my best advice is to see what's there and copy it. And it's actually not too bad to copy it. But you use the furniture, talk about it, read a review, and or be in that setting if you want to show that lifestyle. Even if you're walking past, if you're actually allowed out, and walking a furniture store, be there, discuss it, talk about it. If you are selling furniture, show that part of the process. So in similar, there's lots of e-commerce stores that want to sell products on their e-commerce. If all they do is, if they have an order, they're filming it, and then they're saying, hey, this is an order that I got. They don't show the name. They package it and they post it. Sales go up. So actually just talking about it, interacting with it, and just kind of associating yourself, they'll go, oh, what's that? And then because of the engagement of TikTok, if you do that with any other social media, that doesn't necessarily work. I mean, it does, but not to the extreme sense of how TikTok is. So when it comes to luxury furniture, using it, talking about it, if you're delivering about it, talking about the problems, hey, just do one video saying how to pick luxury furniture. You don't have to say buy it from me. And this is the tip for all businesses, is that there's a milestone. Once you hit 1,000 followers, and actually it's not that hard, 1,000 followers on TikTok, you can then place your link in the profile. Clickable. I mean, you can place it there anyway, but then you can click onto there. And with all social media, the point, if you have any business, to get them off social media as soon as possible. Get them onto an email list. And I'm fully, the power of email is the best thing. Give them a freebie, give them a free tool from that link that shows who you are, addressing who they are. And there's a specific tool that I use. It's that you can just send them to, and it shows you who you are, all your links, and they will literally click it because they already have that trust really, really fast, because it's a video and they want to know more about you. And that's a kind of flexible tool that could be for any business. So when the person who's packaging stuff, because they do metal straws, they have a link to their page and then they sell metal straws. So it's as simple as that. I could say it's more complicated, but actually it's just featuring the product, sending a link to it, and it's there. It's so powerful. And you could also do like funny pixels and stuff where you can kind of track who they are in some adverts, but that's a little more advanced.
Amazing. Well, that's really powerful, Rona. And I think one of the things that you picked up on, and I notice this a lot, is using social media well. A lot of it is also about your imagination and about some variety, isn't it? And so what you were saying is that somebody can actually say, oh, I've got an order, and they can look at the order, they can hold up the order, or they can walk around and have walk down the street and have a look into some shop windows and say that they like this furniture or they don't like that furniture. They don't always have to say, here is my piece of furniture, do they? And I think that's the kind of, that's where the imagination and sort of looking at it from different angles, layering, makes it kind of more interesting, doesn't it?
Something funny, like you have a customer complaint, and there's always something, or there's a criticism against you in comments, and saying, hey, we had this customer that said, we wanted it to look more expensive or something with this furniture, and just say about, you don't have to say who the person is. You can kind of interact with that, because they'll still associate with you, and that shows something about you, that you're not perfect, but you could have addressed that, and that, or how unrealistic maybe that goal is. So you kind of set expectations with whatever product or business you provide, and it hasn't just to be products. Coaching is amazing. Any of those kind of things, any of the trades, as like plumbing or tiling, because then you can literally put a camera at the corner tiling, and then suddenly you know that you're good at tiling because you do it, and you can show that you're actually doing the actual thing that you're promoting, and it's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that.
Amazing. What have I been waiting for? Well, I mean, the reason why I haven't got involved in TikTok, I think, and we were talking about this before we went live, Rona, is that my children have been like, oh, TikTok isn't for you. TikTok is for us. It's for our age group. Of course, they're the Snapchat and Instagram generation, and now TikTok. They want to identify it, I think, as sort of being for them, but it's grown up, hasn't it, as a
I
platform?
mean, there's a joke on TikTok. It's like, where are all the young people gone? Because it's all like taken up. As I said, it's during the pandemic when it suddenly. There's a joke that all the women are just drunk housewives because there's nothing to do at home. That's not the case. But as I said, it is for them, because TikTok is always, whoever you are, it's for you, because the feed is magical. The For You page is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
On my feed, I don't hardly see any dancing at all on it, because I flick through it. I see social media tips, I see inspirational stuff, I see business quotes, I see small marketing businesses. I watch Star Wars stuff and Doctor Who stuff because that's what I like. So actually, if you were on TikTok for like a day, an hour, the longer you are, and then we swapped phones, my TikTok is not for you. It isn't for you, because it's actually specifically to me. Because and then, for example, there's like if you're male, if you're watching it, you'll see a female dancer, and on the opposite sex, I'll see the opposite sex on there doing the exact same dance, doing the exact same thing, because that appeals to you. If you're gay, then it'll literally focus that on you. So the children are right. Their TikTok is not for you. But it is not, but it is for everyone.
And that is very, very different to something like Instagram, for example, where you've got to choose to follow people, haven't you? And then what happens is your feeds sometimes get clogged up with people that you don't necessarily feel an affinity for, because sometimes we're not always the best judge of who to choose and who to follow. If somebody can actually predict who we are going to follow, or because based on our interests, and as you said, this AI and the algorithm and so on, then in a way, well, that's great, isn't it? Because it takes the responsibility off our shoulders, doesn't it?
Yes, I mean, there is an option for you to follow stuff and favorite things and go back to them, because sometimes you can like somebody and you'll never see them again. There's a thing where on TikTok, I like that. You click away and then you'll literally never, ever see them again. And then because the algorithm will never show it to you. But it sure, there's this thing about responsibility. Maybe that's why they feel it's so dangerous. But it's interesting if you were to also, one of the things that was controversial is because of your political beliefs. So if you were following a specific party or a specific celebrity, what's quite dangerous is you probably, similar to like Facebook, because the Facebook feed will only show you things that you kind of want to see, what they want you to see, is it will only show you it will show you what your bias is. It's like the same echo chamber that you have in Facebook. What, you know, the controversy about Facebook. So yeah, there's I like how you said that about it feels like maybe it's not your responsibility, but it's also you have the power, because if you don't want to watch it, if for 2 seconds you flick it away, you don't watch it. You have the control. It's both. It's a contradiction. It gives you it's all no responsibility, but then you have full control of what you see. It's weird.
Okay. Great. So we've got another question here, which is about luxury brands on TikTok. Do luxury brands use TikTok? Rona?
Yes, absolutely. And it's interesting if you look at the demographic, the income of the people that use TikTok are a lot higher. So first of all, first of all, everything's perfect on TikTok, but it is perfect for that demographic, because you can access those people and that specific thing. And maybe it's because, as I said, if you happen to be lucky to be furloughed and get paid, you happen to be in that kind of job where you have that option to be at home, as opposed to if you're a key worker, if you're kind of in the front lines, you have to physically be away all day. And spend, so that's interesting. So first of all, it is perfect for any kind of luxury brands. So I don't know specifically what they want about it. Once again, it's like the luxury furniture. It's kind of the same thing. First of all, see what's there. If you want to know what to do on TikTok, go on TikTok and see the things that you want to see. See what is there. Find the trending pages. Put the music over there. But it's the kind of the same answer in some respects. Show the thing, maybe even show that lifestyle, because I guess if you want people to see, it's similar to Instagram. If you want to sell holidays, you show luxury holidays. Or if you want to sell wealth trading, you show lots of wealthy pictures, because you want to attract that kind of customer. So it's kind of there's more nuance to that, and it kind of depends. It's both really, really tailored, and kind of the general rule is you kind of just use the product, show it, link to it, and actually also talk nothing about it, because if it's a luxury home and you're in your kitchen making stuff, that will attract certain people to it. So using the products or talking about it or reviewing it is the general answer.
Yeah, great. Well, the questions are coming thick and fast, Rona. So we have another question, which is, can you search for and follow specific occupations, like, for example, interior designers or architects?
Absolutely, yes, you can. So you can search for it, you can see the different areas, and also once you do that, you don't have to search for it anymore. It'll come to you and you'll see what that is. So here's some of the basic stuff about TikTok, is that when you post anything, it shows it to a sample of the people who you are following or who are followers, and it shows it to them. And if they like it, then it'll show it to more people. So really, the answer is post stuff is the answer. And but yes, if you want to search for it, search for it. Also, you can find certain followers or certain people that promote or do that project, and it's you can do a simple search, and then once you look for it, you'll see it. It'll be there. You don't
Brilliant.
need to long.
So let's talk for a moment, Rona, about repurposing content, because I'm a great fan of repurposing. So, for example, this podcast goes out as a live stream across multiple platforms, because it's on StreamYard. It can go out to 8 platforms. So I think we're streaming it on your media, aren't we? And we're streaming it on YouTube and so on. So, and then a couple of weeks later, we upload it to the podcast, and then we do all the social media. So it's then on all of the platforms. So we get incredible mileage out of one piece of content. So this is obviously why I keep on coming across lots and lots of TikTok originated content. So what would be the best route for somebody who wanted to incorporate TikTok into their overall marketing strategy and actually repurpose that content to get as much mileage from it as possible?
It's actually perfect, because that's what the strategy is. As you said, you have a podcast, you can then have the audio as a podcast, and you can even do a blog with the writing. It's everything. This fits perfectly with TikTok. And actually, you were saying that my sister kind of like poo-poos TikTok. I don't like it. It's all rubbish. maybe because she's not following the right things. She sees all her TikTok on her Instagram feed because she's on Instagram. And actually, Instagram have before you can anything you post on TikTok on Instagram, it will blow up and it'll do really well. But now they're kind of iffy about it. So if you put their logo on it, they'll kibosh you. But it's perfect. So it's exactly the same thing. You have a long form content. The only thing is you want to shorten it down. So you want to do a snippet. I mean, that's what most people do. So sometimes you'll see a post and it will be a 10-minute, 15-minute YouTube video, and they've just taken a chunk of it. They've either edited it really down or they've taken a small section. So it fits perfectly into that strategy and making it not as time consuming, because yes, if you're a social media person, and that's one of the things I do, is I do do all the social media, so you don't have to, because there's hundreds of them and you've got to keep finding content.
Yes.
You get your video, you do a small section of it. Sure, if you can, because it takes 15 seconds to do a video, you want to do it yourself. But I guess Gary Vee's the perfect example. You see him on LinkedIn, he's then repurposed exactly on TikTok.
And he talked about TikTok from the very early days, didn't he? He was always saying, be on TikTok, TikTok's going to go big. He was really the biggest advocate for it when nobody else took it seriously, wasn't he?
Yes, I mean, I guess what's thing about Gary Vee, he'll go on every single social media to test it and try it out. I'm sure you'll be, if it works, it works. It doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's kind of a bigger philosophy about it. As I said, some people say, what social media shall I pick? Shall it be TikTok? I say yes, because of the high engagement, etc., etc. But, with Facebook, the other few weeks ago, it seems like a year ago now, Australia was like, no news. And then Facebook shut down all the news sites on the thing. So any social media is prone to be shut down in 2 seconds. What do you do? That's the thing. If you choose one social media, and it could be anything, I suggest TikTok. It could be Instagram, depending on your brand. It could be LinkedIn. It could be YouTube. Pick one, establish yourself, grow that brand. As I said, get them off that social media as soon as possible, because especially for an entrepreneur, one of the rules is you never sell on social media. You always sell off social media. Get them in private. You entertain, inform, educate on social media, and you sell in private via email, via sales letter, and you grow your list, because you don't actually control anybody. You don't control who you see, especially on TikTok. There is an advertising element, and you can focus it, like on Snapchat, there's even an advertising element. You can focus on specific people, age groups, location, postcode, in a specific area.
Wow.
How much, if you want to target people if you've got a dog food thing, you just target people that have dogs or want a dog. Weight loss is amazing on TikTok, because that's one of the health is really, really big on TikTok. You can target specifically. So that's the main thing. You want to protect it. You want to get them off social media. And if you establish your brand on one thing like TikTok, if you have another thing, your audience will follow you, because because you've established a brand like known, trusted, on your social media page.
Amazing. So that's so interesting, Rona. So, are there any downsides to TikTok? Would you say, is there any reason why anybody wouldn't want to use it, or have there been any complaints about TikTok, or would you say no, it's just really powerful and really my number one go-to social media?
I mean, for example, with downside of Twitter is you might say something stupid and suddenly you're fired from your job or something. I guess that's the threat of any social media, I suppose. But as I said, it's like the slot machine. If you do something wrong or you make a rubbish video, one, you can repost it, because you can post it at a specific time. There are specific times, and there's debate about this, but there are specific times that you want to post your videos, how many videos you want to post. You can if you make a mistake, you can do it again. It'll take off another time. There's not too much of a downside. I mean, one of the downsides is, you don't want to show your face. But you don't have to show your face. You can do lots of different things. You can do reactions. You can do commentaries. It can be quotes. There's a specific software that I have that kind of creates it and uses other clips, copyrighted free clips, to access that. So I guess the downside but people perceive is I don't want to be on video.
A lot of
But
people think that,
you don't have to be on video. There's not too much of a downside. I mean, if the people who don't want to see you won't see you. I guess being silly, I guess, and dancing stupidly, but that's been fun. Everyone's doing that. It's great. I suppose that's always making fun of being silly is a downside. But it's pretty. I'm sure later on there'll be something bad about it, but I guess that's the thing with any kind of social media or any kind of tool. It's pretty good, pretty fabulous.
Yeah. So paid traffic. So, well, I know we're going to get onto Clubhouse as well in a minute, Rona, because I've been on Clubhouse and we had a conversation that you're not on Apple, so you haven't been on Clubhouse. So that's obviously slightly eclipsed the relentless rise of TikTok. But anyway, we'll get onto that in a minute. But first of all, I wanted to talk about paid traffic, because I was actually listening to a room on Clubhouse today, in fact, which was talking about paid traffic versus organic social media.
The forever debate.
Yes, that's right. I know. And funnily enough, Rob Moore, whose marketing mastermind I was a part of, he was always talking about social media. And he actually said on this platform, no, paid traffic is the way to scale. It's the only way to scale. So I also know that paid traffic is a really powerful tool. So if you had an ad budget and you were looking at the various platforms, where would you put your money now, Rona? Would you put it into Facebook or YouTube or TikTok, or what would you do?
Well, first of all, there are some free advertising on TikTok, so you can use that and you facilitate that. I mean, if I were to put my money into somewhere, I would probably put it actually on Facebook, because really on Facebook, there are ways to do it. There is some organic stuff on there, but especially if you have a Facebook page, no one will really see it unless you put money into it. You can do it organically, and that's the debate with free and paid. Free means you have to put in your own time.
Yeah.
You have to, and you can do everything for free if you wanted to. You just have to be consistent. You have to put everything in there. But once you have paid, you can target specifically, and you can just make it accelerate it faster. It is kind of the way to go. You want to use a bit of both because there's pros and cons on there. But yes, in paid advertising, I would pick. That's the only thing that can make it work, because once you find the algorithm and you've done all your bits and pieces and you've done your research and you've tested it to make it work, my money would be on Facebook.
Okay, brilliant. Right, so let's get on to a debate about Clubhouse versus TikTok. So I probably spent a bit more time on Clubhouse than you have, Rona. But have you got any thoughts or ideas about Clubhouse, or what have people been saying about Clubhouse to you as a social media expert?
It's interesting because with TikTok and Clubhouse, it's both exactly the same and totally different. First of all, with TikTok, it's about you can, as I said, you can see TikToks on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and everyone's trying to copy that. But with Clubhouse, it's like it's a secret. No one can see it. It's exclusive. Only you can do it over here. And in some ways, it's exactly the same, because you can be really, really niche. You can follow the people, and you can kind of choose. It's almost diametrically opposed. You can choose where you want to go to, and once you have that following, it's really, really powerful. I mean, especially because it's an emerging thing. If you happen to be, and this is true, a specific builder, and you're the only one on there, you're going to be the go-to person in that area. So if you can get in there first, as well with TikTok, even though it's been there for a little bit longer, it's still the new person on the game. It's a new person in the game, because it's still kind of forming, and it's still got the establishment on its side, as well as Clubhouse, which is crazy, and how it's accelerated so fast because of its exclusive nature. But it's great because it's a visual medium as opposed to an audio medium, and we know how popular podcasts are, and how audiobooks are. We know how powerful that is. So it's and how TikTok is such a short medium. It's about being quick. It's about, we don't have no time for that. We get it. We have the information. You want to pack as much content as you can in those 15 seconds to a minute. It may be it's probably going to be extended to 3 minutes, but literally you can just 1 second you flip through it, you don't get that information. With Clubhouse you could probably it's just conversations, interesting topics, debates, etc. It's crazy, but it's amazing because it suits your niche. It depends on what your purpose is. It's all about your aim. It's all about your goal. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I think the thing about Clubhouse is that it's an extremely collaborative medium. So people that wouldn't collaborate in any other space, they're collaborating for domination. That's what I think. So, for example,
land grab.
Pardon?
Land grab.
Land grab, exactly. So what I've noticed is that you get a lot of big influencers, and as I said, they've all got businesses that could be considered competitive to one another. But what they've done is they've almost like formed a little cartel, and they've all got they're all on a WhatsApp group. And what they do is they put on these huge rooms that go on for 36 hours, 48 hours. They go on for like 2 days, and they're non-stop, and they're going around the clock. And what's actually happening is, I would imagine that behind the scenes they're all on their WhatsApp group saying, I'm going off I'm going off grid for a couple of hours, don't ask me any questions, or I don't know. But it's I think that's the thing that makes it a phenomena, is that people are just, they appear to be on there for days. I mean, literally days. And so in a way, it's completely the opposite, isn't it, of TikTok, where it's just instant.
I mean, with TikTok, obviously there's some collaboration, and actually that really helps if you collaborate with somebody, for sure. And that social media, you want to connect. Hey, we're in connector world right now, and we know how important it is to network. So yes, you have TikTok, which is kind of, you could do it on your own. You can just have a camera in front of you and you can just kind of fly. But it's interesting because, especially because it's how effective the pandemic is. Because I'm in that kind of the social media, internet marketing kind of world where people do webinars and sell stuff. There was a gap where you had either less people buying. There was a time when everyone started to work together and share their lists. I mean, they kind of always did this. This is part of the JV kind of, you show my product to your list. But that is even stronger because they had to work together to grow business. So that's kind of the one thing as well. But it's this is what we do. You can't do property, you can't do any business without collaborating, without networking, which is something that I you truly believe in, just helping out, for the own sake of helping out people, because it will kind of come back to you, and giving the free stuff, the free training, etc. It's terrific.
Absolutely. And I think that the power of social media really is that it is about community, isn't it? And it is about relationships, and about connections, and about leveraging, other people. And that is the thing that I think people who are natural, should we call it connectors, have an advantage, because really, if you can build those relationships, then your brand and your business can go a lot further than if you're just sitting there on your own and just putting out your own stuff day after day. And that's the thing that I really love about it.
It's the reach. I mean, hey, Zoom, we're collaborating all around the world on all that kind of stuff. But social media is people. Before social media, you just had letters and clubs and marketing. I'm in the network marketing business. I'm proud of that. Was the basics. You talk to people, you share your product individually with those relationships. And with social media, we know this. We've had the internet for at least a few years now, right?
Yeah.
A few years. Is that you can connect with people around the world, across the world, and it's just kind of accelerated it really, really fast. But people are people, so you have the bad. It reflects. People have a really, really bad taste when it comes to social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, and that's, I guess, and I say, well, that's because who you follow and what your interests are.
Yeah.
Because hey, people, as bad as social media is, it's it's as good. But that's just people. That's just connecting with other people and choosing who you want to connect with, and turning
Yeah.
it off and reaching out. There's also the whole thing about social media about switching it off and not having your social media feed and not being bombarded about that. And if you're not, and this is my thing, if you're using social media to your advantage, that's great. Otherwise, you'll just be constantly being used because you're the commodity, right? You're the one that they're advertising. You're the one that's giving them the information. You need to use it, even if you don't have a business, connecting with those people, sharing products, and, starting, collaborating, but being individual. Because if you don't really like people, it's also pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a distance there as well. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think you're so right when you talk about how you use it, because I've heard people say, I'm so fed up with all the negativity on Facebook, and I'm like, I haven't seen any negativity on Facebook. I hardly ever come across any negativity on Facebook, and it's because of the people that I associate with and I follow and who follow me, because they don't tend to be negative people. So but I also think it's important, as you said, to know that at times social media isn't the real world. Yes, it gives you access to other people, but there is also comes a time when you've got to put it down and just go out there and experience the real world and nature and real people and real relationships as much as you can. So it's good to be able to know its place in a way and know how
Yeah.
to use it and
And
know
just
that
to
it's a
add,
tool. Yeah.
apologies, just to add, that's why TikTok and Clubhouse are important, because with how it seems so toxic with Twitter and Facebook, you have that veil of anonymity where you can be free to troll. And even if you're a very nice person and polite, you have that freedom to be toxic and horrible to people
Yeah.
online. And we know the real world consequences of that.
Yes.
It's, with TikTok, that's why it's so fast, because you see the person. You have that
Yes.
like and trust instantly. You see that they're there. They must, that's not always the case. That's not entirely true, but you have that connection really fast. Audio, Clubhouse, you just have that. You have that connection. That's why podcasts do so well, because you have a podcast that lasts 3 hours as well.
Amazing. Well, listen, it's just been such a pleasure to speak to you this evening, Rona. So tell our viewers and our listeners, what have you got for them? You've got some goodies coming up, haven't you?
Yes. First of all, yeah, you can find me anywhere. Rona Rivera Rahman, or Rona Rivera. There's a spelling. It's a combination of all my names. I've melded it together. But I'm doing some social media training, just general social media training. I'm actually going to be charging for that, but because I'm recording it live, when you have feedback, for those who want to go, they can go to it for free. Also, there's some freebies there. You can get a free social media audit, and I can kind of see what needs to be done, what is the best, what's most efficient for you, and maybe just picking that one or picking the 10, whatever suited for you. And I have that whole marketing suite. And if you wanted to learn social media yourself, I'm part of an amazing group that teaches you all the things about social media for free, and you get a mentor, because all of it's there. It's great for businesses. It's great for if you want to be an affiliate marketer, that's amazing, or a network marketer. It's all there for you. But I have a link, which is a similar link that I use on TikTok. All of my stuff is there, and it's specifically for this show as well. All the stuff that I mentioned.
Fabulous. Well, we'll make sure that we put your link. Is that Linktree, by the way, that you use?
No, it's even better, the Linktree. It's
Is it?
yeah. It's similar to Linktree. You can have a page, you can kind of edit it, but you can kind of, once you have a link, you can then change it afterwards. You can schedule it, you can lock it down, but you can have videos on there. You can put all your social medias there. It's powerful, and that's how you can. That's one of the secret sauce for the social medias. It kind of links all to that one place, but it's really tailored, really quick, really easy. And that's one of the freebies as well that I give away in my little package as well. So
Wow.
check me out.
Amazing. Okay, well, Rona, thank you so much again. It's been such an amazing, informative, and inspirational hour that we've spent together. And
Talk about
thank
it
you.
for hours.
Yeah, well, and thank you everybody who tuned in as well, because you've asked some wonderful questions. And so do connect with Rona. She's got some great wisdom and experience to offer, as you probably discovered tonight. And Rona, thanks again for joining us, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye.